Why is it weird? First of all, he plays with a racket that is different. He plays with a racket with 2 grips. Mostly, it looks like a volleyball serve. They toss the ball super high, they make 1 or 2 steps forward, they jump and then they hit. If that works for volleyball, why it doesn't work for tennis? Because the goal is not the same. The goal in volleyball is just to hit hard and a ball that goes really down. The goal in tennis is to have a very high percentage of first serve and a maximum accuracy. So to be able to serve that way, first of all, you need to toss extremely high because you need time to move forward, step and jump. When you toss that high, the toss is much less precise. And we know that in tennis, if the toss is not precise, it's impossible to be accurate and to be consistent. This is indoors. Imagine this guy plays outdoor with the wind. Tossing that high, he has no chance to serve. And second, I would say the second problem is the fact that he runs before hitting the ball and jumps. That makes him jump a lot inside the court, which is fine if he serves and volley. But if he doesn't, in this case he does because he's in doubles. But if he doesn't, he's gonna end up being too much inside the court. It's so easy for the opponent to play a shot that will put you in trouble. So with that type of serve, you can only serve and volley. The guy doesn't hit backhands, he plays only forehands. Forehands as a lefty, forehands as a righty. The first thing that stands out is that it's super surprising for the opponent. Who plays against someone who has no backhands? Nobody. So they try to find the backhand and they never find it, and wherever they hit, they have to face a forehand. The second is that again, he takes the best out of it and he can literally pull you out of the court with his righty forehand when it's on the deuce side and with his lefty forehand when he's on the ad side. He can play inside out in a way on both sides. And we know that players, when they take their forehand and they go around the backhand, so in that position, that's where they're the most dangerous. So that's a big asset. The fact that he serves with both hands is also a huge asset because he can use the slice on both sides. I mean, if he's able to master forehands at the highest level on both sides, he can be an incredible player. It's not going to be easy because he will have to make choices, and the choice will be to forget about backhands and play only forehands, which is not the case fully because at practice he also hit backhands. But I mean, it's unusual, and the fact that it's unusual is a big asset for him. This video for this 15-month-old is very good because we see different stages and a progression. Sitting on the ping pong table with a ping pong racket and a ping pong ball, so everything is very light. It's great that at that age already he's getting used to the ball and the rhythm, so he has to hit the ball with the right timing. And the second progression is with a tennis ball, but the tennis ball is at the end of a rope. Those parents did a great job to make it really fun for a 15-month-old kid. You see his smile is enjoying it. And then he moves to a junior racket, which is a tennis racket but small, and with a ball that is bicolor. You see 2 colors on the ball. They are balls that are adapted to these kids. At the start, he can't really hit the ball, so the ball is on the ground, which is great for kids to start. So he gets used to the trajectory. And then you can make the ball bounce a little bit. I think this progression is amazing for the kid because it's adapted every time to his height, his strength, and it gets more and more difficult as he progresses.
1, 2, 3. Break swing. 1, 2, 3.
First of all, this kid is extremely impressive. The first thing to notice is that he's hitting forehands with a perfect timing, and he's on a non-stable, which is called a proprioception cushion. Only to stay on that cushion without falling, I'm not even talking about hitting some shots, is super impressive. I don't know if I can do it for so long. So this kid looks completely comfortable on a proprioception cushion, and at the same time, he has to execute kind of a complex motion, which is a forehand. To tell you how stable this kid is and how impressive that is, professional tennis players stand on the same type of cushion and have to catch both and bring them back. One thing I really like is that his father is giving him the right advice. He is preparing extremely early before the ball lands on the ground, and this is what we teach people who have been playing for years and they have not taken the right habits. So they start preparing when the ball bounces on their side. So that's a perfect way to teach him. He's already teaching his kid to hit the ball over an obstacle, which is the net. The father makes it enjoyable. He congratulates his kid when he succeeds. So I see a lot of positive there. Otherwise, I think the exercise is amazing, and probably they worked a lot to obtain that kind of amazing stability for a kid hitting forehands.
Well, that's one of the dangers of the twinner. So if you don't want this to happen to you, you have to use only your wrist when you do the twinner. Only the wrist. And this kid is using his whole arm. So the problem is when you use your arm, it follows its course and it ends up where you don't want it to end up. So sometimes you have to make mistakes to learn. He will learn. So first of all, it's the first time that I see this machine. And I think it's very interesting to work on power, because as you see, the ball that the player receives is completely dead. There is no energy in the ball. So you have as a player to create fully the energy. It's like if someone would feed you balls like that. So this machine is interesting for that. But this being said, you can see that it has a very little margin over the net. Very little. So I would not advise that. It needs to hit at least 50 centimeters over the net minimum. So this kid is 3 years old. It's difficult to believe. First of all, he positions himself incredibly well. He reads the trajectory of the ball at 3 really incredibly. Something that is very difficult at 3 also is to position yourself in regards to the bounce. So in general, you go forward when you should go backwards, or you don't know exactly when the ball is going to go up or down, and so it's difficult for the coordination. His coordination is unbelievable. His timing to hit the ball is also incredible. He doesn't miss one. So not all the kids are equal, definitely from the start. To be able to already have that timing, that reading of the trajectories, you have to get him interested enough and passionate enough about the ball. So he has something special, this kid. He has some passion for hitting the ball, which is quite unique.
Come joga, come joga.
We have this kid who's 1 year and a half. The way he plays is already amazing. I think the mom is doing an incredible job because she's teaching this kid all the motions in tennis, and she's asking, do a forehand, do a backhand, do a serve, and this little kid knows how to do it already. You see that the wrist is already free to accelerate. His technique is quite good. Of course, there is no ball, but it's very good, and I think because he watches tennis. She says to him, who's playing? And the kid says, Papa. So he watches his father play. And two things that are very interesting with kids. First, they're great at copying. So when you show them something, they can reproduce it. So as much as they can watch tennis, they will produce it easily. And the second thing, and it's a mistake that a lot of parents do, it's important to create frustration, not overdoing things. And to keep the motivation, you have to not give them too much. Actually, that's what the father of Tiger Woods did. He was playing golf, his son was watching, and he was not allowed to play. So he created frustration. You see that this child is very excited to play, he wants to play, but he doesn't play, there is no ball. He will, but maybe he will play a little bit, 5 minutes, and then you take the ball away. You stop when the child still wants to play, rather than overdoing and creating the opposite, where the child doesn't want to do it anymore. You can play tennis forever because you can play at any speed you want. Those two men are playing slowly, so they can play even at a very advanced age. I mean, in any case, those two persons are living a very special moment together. By the way, did you notice that those two gentlemen are ambidextrous? They both play only forehands. So look, forehand, 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 forehand. Both of them, that's rare. Oh, I like what I see. Oh, incredible. This little girl is 6 years old. The way she hits the ball, incredible, and the way she moves, wow, she's so impressive, she's so athletic. So movement is incredible, bouncing really fast, but the most impressive is the racket head speed. Wow, the acceleration is unbelievable, really impressive. Honestly, the acceleration of the racket head at that age, so fast, that's one of the most impressive I've seen. I mean, that's not all, of course. First I see how she hits the ball, I don't see the results. So maybe all the balls are out, I doubt it, but this is what I want to see. Second, I want to see when she's moved to the side because all the balls come to her. And third, I want to see how she competes. But honestly, the quality of the shot, the racket head speed, the quality of the technique at 6 years old is one of the best I've seen. What is fun is that there is a ball that is shorter, she runs forward to hit it and she almost hurts herself because she's too excited, she's too much into it. But to be able to produce that, she needs to love it. Otherwise, there is no chance she's going to produce that intensity, because that's the word, intensity.